Hey YouTube, it's Marita and welcome to another edition of the Nurse Lounge. In this edition, we're actually going to talk about that your girl has finished her very first year of full-time academia, and I just wanted to give you an update, what it was like, what I've learned, and the like. So if you want to see what I have to say about my first year of full-time academia, stay tuned. And we are back. My name is Dr. Marita P. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for almost 17 years. OB/GYN, well baby nursery is my specialty. And I'm doctorally prepared and I teach full-time now at a HBCU. And in this video, we're going to recap this whole first year of my nursing education journey regarding full-time academia. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. If you all recall, if anybody who's been following me for a long time, you remember the videos that I was doing of come to work with me when I was working on the floor as a postpartum nurse. Well, that is still my specialty. That hasn't changed. That is actually what I teach in nursing school. I teach other classes too, but I do teach OB. I'll be teaching OB in the fall. So I'm still grounded to my OB realm. That is my passion. That's my love. That's what I do. However, so I was doing those videos in my very last shift that I worked with, I think was August 10th of last year of 2020. And that was my last day on the floor. And then I quit that job to do this job full time. So now that I have been here for 1 year, one academic year, so it's not been a calendar year because I actually started August 6th of last year. And I just finished, my last day was May 7th of 2021. This year. So I have a 9-month contract. So basically how this works is you get paid for 12 months. So they take your salary basically and divide it by 12 instead of dividing it by 9. So that way we always get paid during the summer, just like a regular educator, other teachers do from like K through 12 education. They get paid typically year round, even though they only work like 9 or 10 months out of a year, 9 months out of a year. So same thing when it comes to the university at that level in terms of full-time faculty. So I have been a clinical adjunct instructor for 15 years, meaning I was adjunct or part-time. I still worked at the university or different university, but I worked in university, but I worked at a part-time basis, no benefits, no summer pay. If you didn't work, you didn't get paid. So basically like you do hour for hour, you get paid. Well, I'm salaried now. So being salaried, which means I get paid a specific amount of money for the entire year, and then they divide that by 12 payments instead of 9 payments because I have a 9-month contract. So now that school is out, is May, what is today? The date of this video, well, the date that you will see it will be in the future, but just for the sake of the video, today is the 14th of May that I'm actually making the video. I just did my last day on the job on May 7th. So the past week, I have not done anything but sleep. I put my kids on the bus for them to go to school, and I get back into bed and sleep till like noon. Then I get to watch my soap operas, and guess what? Your girl's still collecting a check. So that's what I love about academia. So let's just go back to August of last year. When I first got my job, I got my contract. I was excited about it, and it was great. I'm getting benefits, full-time benefits. I'm getting, sick leave and PTO, which I never have to use. Why? Because of the fact that I'm always off. I'm off on weekends. I'm off on nights. I'm off on holidays. We have a fall break. We have a spring break. We have all the major holidays off. And then we, of course, have the entire summer off. And we have the winter break between fall and spring semesters off. So I'm off a lot. So I don't even need to use my PTO because I can always schedule things to do during my off time. But I do have it just in case. I have sick leave just in case. I have all this stuff accruing that I'm not even having to use, at least not yet, because I don't need it. With that being said, how did the first year go? So let's go back to August of 2020. I got my job, and we have all our 50,000 meetings. The meetings. When I tell you we stayed in somebody's meeting, Child, when I tell you we stayed in somebody's meeting, we was in meetings all the time. You come back to school and you have a meeting with the president and basically entire faculty body, staff and faculty welcome you back to school in August. And they're talking about basically, any new policies that we have in the face of COVID, what we're doing regarding COVID in terms of social distancing, how we're going to do a hybrid format, or whatever it happened to be. That's what we talked about during that time period when it came to taking care of our students in that regard. After you have that 50,000 meetings, then you have what's called you have your college meeting. So you have your university meeting, then you have your College of Health and Science meeting. So nursing falls under the college or the school or the College of Health and Sciences. So under the College of Health and Sciences, you have, for our program, nursing, speech therapy, you have social work, you have psychology, you have dental hygiene, you have all those different colleges that comprise the College of Health and Science. So then the dean of that department has a meeting. So then you have to sit through that meeting to discuss what that program gonna do. Then you got to have a School of Nursing meeting. Okay, so then you have your director, your executive director wants to have a meeting with all the faculty for the School of Nursing. So you have those meetings. Then you have to have your actual program meeting. So like if you're teaching in the BSN program, are you teaching in the MSN program? And we had an ASN program. Are you teaching the ASN program? Guess what, y'all? When you're teaching across programs, when you teach more than one program, you got to go to all those meetings. So you have all those meetings to go to. All this stuff happens before schools even start later in the month, okay? So you go through all those 50,000 meetings. Then you have to get your courses ready for class to start. You have to have, so if you're using D2L or whatever program that you happen to use, you have to Blackboard, D2L, Moodle, Canvas, whatever your program uses. You have to set up your grade books. You have to set up for all this stuff for all your classes. All your syllabus have to be done. Syllabi have to be done. Your grade book have to be set up for every single class. You have to have, what your activities are going to be for every class. So all those assignments that y'all be having to do, we have to create the assignments. We have to create the rubrics. We have to create the thing, put it in the course shell. We have to create the instructions on how to do it. We have to create all of that. We have to link the things together. So when you actually just put something in the Dropbox, I'm notified about it. Or put how much this is worth. It's a big process to get a class together. So now imagine teaching 4 or 5 classes. We have what's called workloads. Your workload is a 15-hour workload, and it just depends on what rank you are and where you are, determines on how much you spend doing what, how many classes you teach, and so forth. Well, for me, my very first semester, I taught OB, I taught Intro to Nursing, and I did, I think, a couple of clinical labs, and I did my lab for my own class. So I taught 2 classes by myself. Now, when you come in as new faculty, typically you ain't teaching nothing by yourself the very first time, right? Guess what happened? They throw you right on in there. This right here, there is no real orientation to being a faculty. They will just say, here's your classes right here. Have a good day. I have a mentor, and she was instrumental. But let me tell you, she had her own classes that she was teaching and preparing for school. So she was instrumental, but at the same time, she wasn't available to me. She did the best she could. That's all I can say. In academia, you are just kind of thrown in there. Here's your class. Here's your students. Have a good day. Let us know if you need anything, type of thing. You have to be creative and come up with all the activities that you want your students to do. There's resources out there in terms of books that you can use. You can use, we do Elsevier and we do Lippincott, so we can go to the resources for those and get ideas for activities to do, and I utilize that a lot. I found online resources to help me. So the same thing that pre-K or K through 5 do to get their lesson plans and stuff together, we kind of have to devise the same activities. So all that is how we started the school year. That's August. So I'm not going to go through month by month, but I just want to kind of say it was rough to begin with. It was really, really rough. It took a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. We only supposed to work 37.5 hours per week, but I can guarantee you I was working 60 hours a week for the first probably month because of the fact that it was just a lot. It was a lot of stuff that had to be done by a certain period of time. I also have to advise students. Ooh, I got to advise, which reminded me, I got an email I need to go check. I have to advise students. I have to participate in committees. So in addition to teaching full time, In addition to grading papers and setting up emails and doing all the other stuff and advisement, you have to participate in committees. So that means you have to, like for instance, we have a pinning committee. So when pinning ceremony time comes, we have to do that. When grievance committee, so let's say a student files a grievance because he or she doesn't think their grade is fair or whatever's going on, I have to be a part of that committee. It's time to hire somebody new, so you have to be a part of the search committee for different things. So you still have to be on committees and do all this other stuff in addition to your work. Now, you're like, who grades the papers? Who do all that stuff? That's me. I have to do all that, and we have to do it in a timely manner per class. Answer all your emails within 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours. I try to answer mine within 24 hours, Monday through Friday. When it comes to Friday afternoon to Monday morning, I'm not answering no emails. So I always said I put that in my syllabus. If you have a question on a weekend, it's not going to be answered until Monday. Because that's kind of how I have to have boundaries set for me so that I can say, okay, these are my boundaries. I'm not crossing them. I have to have me time and I have to cut this school off mentally, and I'll come back to it the next week. So there's that we have to deal with. In addition to that, we are also, for us, we happen to move into our new health science building. So we had to go set up for that. This is come January or come December. December, we moved into our new health science building, which I kind of showed some videos on that a little bit of our health science building. We had to unpack. So they said, okay, we had, just like how you unpack your house, we had to unpack a whole nursing department. Unpack that. We had to unpack our offices. We had to do all kinds of stuff when we moved to the new health science building. That and get ready to teach in January and spring our new classes. Well, then guess what? In January, school starts again. And those same meetings we have to have again. The whole university meeting we have to have again. The whole department meeting we have to have. Then we have, or the whole college meeting, the department meeting. All those things are done all over again every single semester. And then, of course, you teach your classes, like as I just stated before. And then you have graduation at the end of the year. Practicing social distancing, coming on campus. We had to do temperature checks on our students. When they did come to campus, we had to sign forms every single time. This was a trying year for us because of COVID. However, I made it through the first year of my academic career, full-time academia career. It was stressful, but it was fun. I don't have any regrets about it. Working at a HBCU was very different too. I went to a PWI for my own college journey, my own education. I went to a PWI. Going to a HBCU is a whole different arena. When I tell you we had fried chicken Wednesday and spaghetti and fish Friday at the HBCU, and I done gained 10 pounds from eating the fried chicken and stuff every Wednesday and fish on Friday and pork chops on Thursday. When I say we ate good, we ate good. Okay, I'm not used to that. We ate real good, and I got the weight to prove it too. So the food was great. I mean, it's just a different experience there at HBCU, which I'm gonna do a whole video anyway, what that has taught me. But anyway, I'm not gonna go into that here, but it's just been a different experience compared to what I am used to with my other experiences in terms of teaching as well as going to school. It's been a great experience. There has been some rough times too. There has been some issues with people like, okay, well, how does it teaching? Well, teaching in academia is no different than working in a hospital setting. And I say that because of the fact that it's nothing but women, at least in my nursing department, which, of course, nursing comprises mostly of women anyway. So the same cattiness and the same issues that you have in the hospital floor, we have there. There's no anything any different. I just choose to ignore a lot of it and go in my office and shut my door and just go about my own business. I don't have time for drama. I'm too old for that. And I'm like, I can't believe some of y'all still playing the same games we played back, when we was in high school, but they're still playing them. So that is a con to it, but I think that's just the nature of nursing, unfortunately, and because we're all women, it's just kind of like that. So I would say my whole experience in terms of out of 10, I would probably give it an 8.5 my first year. I definitely enjoyed it. It was some ups, it was some downs, but at the end of the day, I met some great faculty there. Yeah, I will say in terms of being at HBCU, it is wonderful to be amongst other women who hold doctoral degrees just like I do. When you're living in a world where Black women are not celebrated as we should be, when you're living in a world in which we are having to deal with violence and racism and things like that, when you're living in a world when people are make you believe that because you're Black you can't be a certain thing, it's wonderful to be at an institution where majority of the faculty there have master's and doctoral degrees. Now, I'm not talking about just in nursing, just going to a HBCU or working there where majority of the faculty have master's and doctoral degrees. That's a beautiful thing to see. It's beautiful when graduation comes and you see everybody with them chevrons on their sleeves. That's doctoral prepared people have chevrons on their sleeves. Them chevrons, that says something right there. That says something about our people right there. So I'm very proud of that. But all in all, like I said, it's about an 8.5 out of 10. I will get more to the HBCU experience in another video, but it's been good. And like I said, now that I'm actually on my break, this is surreal. I have worked 15 years or 14 years as a 15 years as a bedside nurse. So 15 years as a bedside nurse, and I'm going on 17 years of nursing experience, or 16 years as a bedside nurse, and I'm going on 17 years as a nurse in general, RN. And this is the first time I can say I can sit down for the entire summer and not do anything if I don't want to, because I'm still getting paid. So that is wonderful. The light's still gonna be on. I still got the TV working. I can still go shop and do the things that I normally like to do. But now I don't have to work. That right there is the biggest thing that I'm like, oh my gosh, what do y'all do during the whole summer? When you've worked for 15, 16 years straight, and really longer than that in terms of me working before I was in school, this is the first time I can say that I'm actually able to sit down and relax and not have to think about how my bills will get paid. I don't have to work. I am working, like I said, a second job. But that's supplemental money. That's not even, if they took that away, I'd be fine. I wouldn't have an issue with that. It's supplemental money, but it's something I enjoy to do. So I'm just really, excited that I will have time now to make more videos and to, kind of answer your nursing questions and kind of really dive into this during the summer. And then when August comes around, I have to start back again, focusing on school again. So that's pretty much it. It's been a great first year, no regrets. I'm looking forward to year 2. It's gonna be some challenges as usual, but I'm looking forward to it. In the fall, I am teaching OB this fall, and I am teaching professionalism in nursing this fall, which I did teach that this semester as well. And I don't know what else I'm teaching, but I do know I'm teaching those 2 classes. So that's pretty exciting for me, because that's what I love to do. OB is my specialty. So there's nothing better than to teach what you do. I tell my students this too. When it comes to OB, people are like, well, OB is a very difficult class in my opinion. It was for me. That is the class that almost took me out of the program. When I was in nursing school, that class was the class that almost caused me to fail the whole program. However, it's ironic that that is the very class that I'm teaching today, how those tables turn. So when I tell you to remain encouraged and to don't be discouraged by things that are happening to you, let that be your motivation to keep going. Let that be your motivation to keep going, because it's funny how tables turn, and the very thing that almost took you out will be the one thing that lifts you up and above everybody else. So be encouraged. Continue what you are doing. I'm going to stay encouraged as well. And follow me on IG and TikTok. I'll have those on the screen right here. And until the next time, you all take care. Bye-bye.